The Business Review brings you top financial news, developments, influencing currencies, commodities, global commerce, tourism, and other economic events from around the globe.
The Labor Department in the United States reported that the number of initial jobless claims in the United States fell to 837,000 last week as the pandemic-ravaged labor market continues to recover. In the week ending September 26, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits dropped by 36,000 from the previous week's upwardly revised level of 873,000. Making it the sixth time in the past 28 weeks that the number has come in below 1 million. The high unemployment is partly due to the economic downward turn. The latest data showed the U.S. economy contracted at an annual rate of 31.4% in the second quarter, with an uncertain path to recovery amid efforts to control the pandemic. According to the Commerce Department's third and final estimate, U.S. real gross domestic product is 0.3% higher than the estimation of 31.7% a month ago. The advance estimate released in late July recorded a decline of 32.9%. The economic decline in the second quarter was the largest since the U.S. government began keeping records in 1947. The latest round of redundancies will make the unemployment situation more severe. By the end of September, America's four largest U.S. airlines have laid off 150,000 staff, and many airlines affected by the pandemic have taken a lot of measures, including reducing executive salaries, cutting flights, and stopping flights. However, as domestic tourism demand continues to shrink and international tourism demand continues to slump, even if spending is reduced, the aviation industry is still being faced with billions of dollars of losses every month. In addition to large airlines being forced to announce layoffs due to power cuts, many large companies in the United States have announced layoffs in the past 48 hours.
Canada launched a 10 billion Canadian dollars three-year infrastructure plan it said would help the country create jobs and recover from the economic slump caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told reporters that with smart, targeted investments, we can get people back on the job and grow the economy while building a healthy, sustainable future for everyone. The money will come from a 35 billion Canadian dollars pool already managed by Canada Infrastructure Bank, which critics complain has done little since it was set up by Trudeau's government in 2017. Trudeau promised to support an economic recovery that would bring back the more than 1 million jobs lost during the crisis. The Prime Minister said the new infrastructure plan would put 60,000 people to work, and he also recommitted to fighting climate change by making investments in things like energy-efficient building retrofits. CIPay Chairman Michael Sabia said bank will seek to underpin private investment in infrastructure and will aim to make returns so that the bank can invest and reinvest going forward.
Wading through the pristine waters of Bali's Lembogan Island, Gede Dharma Putra gathers up seaweed growing on lines, sorts through them, and dries the aquatic vegetables in preparation for sale. In what seemed like a lifetime ago before the pandemic hit, Gede Dharma had a very different job, providing driving lessons to sunbathing tourists near the very same spot as the seaweed farms. Like many locals on the island off Indonesia's Bali, Gede Dharma has been forced to return to seaweed farming after foreign tourists were barred from entering the country. Indonesia is the world's second biggest seaweed producer next to China, and although Balinese seaweed makes up only a small percent of the country's output, it might not produce much, but seaweed has a long history on the island. Seaweed farming in Lembongan started in 1978. The aquatic vegetable is dried and processed and exported to be used in everything from food additives to cosmetics. But the industry slowly died down in 2010 with the onset of the tourism boom. Bali attracts millions of tourists a month, but arrivals to the holiday destination, known for its nightlife, surfing, and yoga retreats, screeched to a halt when authorities banned foreign arrivals following the onset of the pandemic. Official data from the Bali Tourism Board showed that there has been 0 international arrivals in nearly all the days in September so far, compared to an average of 20,000 tourists per day in the same month last year. Many Lembongan Islanders long for tourism to return. Seaweed farming, they say, is harder work than tourism industry and does provide fewer returns.
Chinese experts said recently that when the US claims everything is a matter of national security, it is harmful to the global high-tech economy. The United States District Court for District of Columbia handed down a preliminary injunction which granted a short-time reprieve to TikTok, a video-sharing social networking platform, and its Chinese parent company ByteDance against the U.S. administration's order to ban the popular app from American online app stores. U.S. President Donald Trump and some U.S. politicians have repeatedly speculated that TikTok poses a national security threat because it is owned by a Chinese company, though no evidence has been provided to support those allegations. On August 6th, Trump issued executive orders banning U.S. transactions with TikTok and WeChat, citing the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The ban was originally set to take effect on September 20th, but according to Chinese experts, TikTok is only one of many examples showing how the US has made a habit of abusing its state power to oppress certain countries and companies for unjustified and untenable reasons in the absence of any evidence. Zhu Xianzong, the vice president of China Information Security Research Institute, said the preliminary injunction issued by the United States District Court for the District of Columbia is a positive sign, although the fate of TikTok in the US remains uncertain. The US's willful oppression of other countries' companies is a blow to new technologies and the progress of human civilization, argued Zhu. Meanwhile, Shanghai Institute for International Studies research fellow Lu Qiangying pointed out that the court's temporary block reflects that the U.S. administration's ban on TikTok has violated its own domestic laws and regulations. The order may temporarily ease the pressure on the parties involved, but an agreement will still be hard to reach, added Lu. Lu said the main reason why the United States is suppressing TikTok is not because it is a Chinese company, but because it is not an American company. From a historical point of view, the United States has repeatedly used its national power to attack companies in other countries. For example, the suppression of Japan's high-tech companies in 1982 and the French company Alstom. The case of TikTok not only concerns the US and China, but will impact the entire international community. How the United States views the rise of Chinese technology companies and how Chinese and American technology companies coexist in the new era will have a major impact on the future ecology of global innovation and the reorganization of the global supply chain system.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Business Review. We hope to see you again tomorrow with news of stock markets, economic conferences, commodities, currencies, regional and international financial matters, and more.